Hello everybody, my name is Jennifer Maker. Today we are making a vinyl storage unit on the Great Maker Show and Tell. Today I am with Greg, Mr. Maker,
Hi.
And he is going to help me put together this vinyl storage unit. We're going to do it together here in the tutorial so you can see exactly how it works. Now the reason to even make this in the first place is because when I first got my Cricut, I got a few rolls of vinyl, no big deal, but over time they accumulated and I now have so much vinyl that I can no longer see what I have. So I'm storing it in boxes like this and it's inconvenient. I have to pull out every roll to see what I've got and it's driving me nuts. So we're going to change that today with our vinyl storage unit. And we're going to base it off of the paper tower of power that we made 2 years ago, which has been working really, really well. And we made that for storing paper. This one's going to be for vinyl, and we want to see all the rolls of vinyl. It's really important to see all of the colors. Important to me, at least. So we're actually putting the rolls of vinyl along the outside of this tower and using the inside for other storage or bigger storage for things that are related to vinyl cutting. And we are going to be using these materials. Greg, why don't you tell us about them?
So we like the paper tower of power. We're going to be using the IKEA Kallax units, which is what these are here. Though they only have they're open on the front and the back. So to mount vinyl on all three sides, we're going to have a kind of a backboard, as it were. So I actually cut this one out of plywood and painted that. So we'll be using that. Just like the paper tower of power, it's going to need casters to roll around. These are a newer IKEA caster, and they're a little bit shorter than the old ones they discontinued that we used in our previous help. So to have our two towers be matching height, I'm going to be using a little bit of 2x4, also painted to kind of bring them up so they're the same height. And then for mounting our vinyl, do you want to talk about these awesome pegboards from IKEA?
So everything we're using for this project is from IKEA, other than the piece of plywood, right? Technically, you could probably get something and cut it down, but it's easier to use plywood for that. But this is one of IKEA's pegboard organizers. I think it's the smallest one they sell.
Yeah. And
it's called Scottus. And they have a whole series of pegboards and pegboard accessories. They're awesome because they're really durable. They're already painted white and they're not made of wood that can chip. It's like a really strong plastic. Now, it's important to note that IKEA's pegboard system is not traditional like ours, where we have a hole every inch. Instead, they have these slats. So you have to use IKEA's pegboard organizers, but they're inexpensive and they're plentiful and they have lots of options. So we have 3 ideas for how we can organize the vinyl with IKEA's accessories. The first is these elastic straps that we can just push the rolls of vinyl into and then we can see them really easily. The second is this sort of letter sorter that happens to be just the right size for the rolls of vinyl, and we can stack 3 or 4 of them in it. And the third possibility are these pegs at the top. And we're going to experiment with all of these different pegboard accessories from IKEA to find what's going to work best to display our vinyl securely so that we can see it. Okay, so I'm really excited to see how all of these pieces go together to create an awesome vinyl storage unit. So let's build this.
Let's get started.
Your first step is to assemble your storage unit. It's really pretty easy to assemble. We put ours together in about an hour, maybe a little less. Now the next step is to cut and attach a back to your storage unit. We cut a piece of 1/4 inch plywood to be 16.5 inches wide by 58 inches tall, and then we painted it white. This wood goes on the back of your Kallax unit so you can mount pegboards there as well. Just turn your Kallax unit over and put the plywood on the back of it. Screw the plywood to the Kallax unit using screws just long enough to go through the plywood and into the unit. We used 1/2 inch drywall screws to attach the back to the unit at the top, bottom, and middle. Of course, if you don't want pegboards on the back of your craft vinyl storage tower, you can skip this step. The next step is to attach the pegboards to your storage unit. We follow the directions that came with each of the IKEA Scottus pegboards to attach them to the sides of the Kallax unit. Again, it's a pretty simple installation. All you need is a flathead screwdriver. You'll first mount the long bracket using the provided screws. Be sure to center it on the side of your unit. There are no screws for the bottom part of the pegboard. Instead, they just give you supports that allow the pegboard panel to stand off the surface at the same depth as the top part of the panel. But don't worry, gravity will do the job here once you have the storage unit upright. Now, it's important to note that you can fit 2 full pegboards on each side, but there will be extra room to spare at the bottom. Now, I wanted my pegboards to go all the way down each side, so we cut 3 of the pegboards to be just 14 inches high, so we could fit them in the bottom of each side. The pegboards might look like they're plastic, but they're actually made of wood, so don't worry about that. You can cut them pretty easily, if you decide to also cut them, of course. Repeat until you have all 3 sides of your storage unit covered with pegboards. Now it's time to attach the casters, if you've chosen to put your vinyl storage unit on wheels, of course. You can attach the casters directly to the bottom of the Kallax unit. We decided to add some extra 2x4 wood between our casters and the storage unit because we wanted to bring it up to the same height as my paper storage tower, which used larger casters that IKEA no longer sells. So it's not necessary to add this wood if you're not trying to match height as we are. The casters just screw into the bottom of the unit on all 4 corners. Once the casters are secured on the bottom of your storage unit, turn it right side up and make sure everything seems stable. Keep in mind that the bottom of the pegboards are not screwed to the sides of your unit, and that's okay because gravity will work here, so don't worry about that. Now the fun begins because it's time to put your attachments on your pegboards. Use the IKEA Scadis hooks, letter holders, and elastic bands in whatever combination works best for your vinyl collection. We use the hooks on one side, the letter holders on the second side, and the elastic bands on the third side so we could see how well they work to hold rolls of craft vinyl. Here are the hooks. They hold 1 to 2 rolls of vinyl each. Note how I've staggered the placement of each set of hooks so I can put them closer together. And here are the letter holders on my storage tower. Each letter holder holds about 4 rolls of vinyl on the side of the storage tower. I really like this one. And here are the elastic bands, which you can attach and slip vinyl rolls into. I like this one as well because it keeps the rolls very secure. My favorite of the 3 types of pegboard attachments are the hooks because they hold more vinyl and are a touch easier to put the vinyl in and out of. Of course, that also means it's a bit easier for the vinyl to get knocked off of if you brush up against it. So keep that in mind if you intend to put your craft vinyl storage unit in a high traffic area. Alright, so here we have our finished vinyl storage tower, and it turned out awesome. And let me show you what we put into all of the different compartments. On the front shelves here, which are open, we've put the easy presses because I have 3 of each size. So I put my Cricut easy presses here, and you can't quite see, but in this section down here are infusible ink and transfer sheets and markers, and then at the bottom there's a box for all of the mats for the easy presses. And we'll turn this clockwise. And so the first thing that we tried was using these elastic bands that came as one of the IKEA pegboard accessories, and actually these work really well. Really easy to slide the things in and out, and everything stays really flat. I really like that, so this was a winner. The next one that we tried were these. They're sort of like letter organizers, paper organizers, envelope organizers. I'm not sure what they call them. But these worked great because it's actually really easy just to slide. Like here's my transfer tape. I can just slide it out and just put it right back in. So super easy. I really like this. And you'll know I've got everything sorted. So here's my transfer tape. And then this is all of my removable vinyl. There's actually quite a bit of that. That goes all the way to the floor. You just can't see that. And then on this side we use the pegs that stick out about 2 inches. And what I really liked about these is that you could actually put 2 rolls. So here I have 2 rolls of green glitter, iron-on vinyl right here, and here I have 2 patterned iron-on vinyls. And that was really nice to be able to put those together like that. And this one also goes all the way down to the floor. It had a lot of vinyl. And The wheels are awesome because it's so easy to turn and move this, so we could move this to wherever we wanted in the room. And Greg did a great job of building it. It feels very sturdy. It doesn't feel flimsy at all. And now as to which of these various organizers you use for your vinyl is up to you. Which is your favorite, Greg?
I actually like the magazine or the paper holder variety, actually.
The one on the back here.
Yeah.
Yes, I really like these too. Everything feels very stable in these, right?
Yeah.
Would you
yeah.
say?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really easy to see everything. It's like they're the perfect size for the rolls of vinyl, in fact. Yeah, so there we go. So if you would like to build this, we have all of the materials listed for this project both below this video as well as over on my blog at jennifermaker.com. And if you would like to make this into a combination paper/vinyl storage tower, you can just combine my two tower organizers together and you would have everything in one spot, and that would actually be pretty awesome. And yeah, I think that's it. Anything you'd like to add, Greg?
Just that, I mean, this is a real nice project because the Kallax units only take me about 30 minutes to assemble. I watched some Netflix and I built it. And then it probably only took about 30 minutes to install all of the pegboard racks around there. So pretty quick project, really. And we have storage on top, just like the paper tower. So I'm not sure what we can do with that, but something for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure something will go up there. Maybe actually something decorative and something instead of just another storage thing, although we'll see, right?
Right.
So
Yep.
I think this was a really successful project. Good job, Greg. All right, so I think that's it. If you have any questions, remember you can leave them below this video or over on my blog, or don't forget to come on over to my Facebook groups. I have two that would be relevant for this project. One is my craft room organization group, and that is at facebook.com/craftroomorganization. And I have another one, my Cricut Crafters, because this is all Cricut stuff, and that is at jennifermaker.com/cricketcrafters. So please come on over, ask your questions, show off your projects when you make them. We love to see them. I really, really enjoy seeing you make these projects. And I think that's it. Remember, if you can tell me what you want to make, I can show you how to make it. Until next time.